Hello, I'm Richard Vobes and I'm doing a review about the Osmo Dji. A friend of mine lent me the camera a week or so ago, and I've been out making some walking videos and exploring the countryside with it, and I thought at the end of it, now that I've got to hand this lovely bit of kit back to my friend, I ought to do a quick review about it and let you know what I think. There's some plus points and there are some major negative points with the Osmo Dji. And of course it all depends on how you're using it and what you're using it for. Principally, I thought this would be a fantastic camera to do as a solo filmmaker, exploring the countryside, getting out and about. So with its selfie mode, I thought that was going to be ideal, and also the fact that you can use it to do POV videos. As you walk along, it gives you a smooth walking effect, as if putting the walking into the viewer so that they feel that they're actually going there. However, I came across a few problems, but let's look at the plus side first, shall we? It has got a beautiful handle, and that makes it nice and easy to carry. It is lightweight. It looks fairly robust. It's in a nice bits of rubber, bits of plastic and metal casing, and it looks very sexy. It looks like a Doctor Who sonic screwdriver, if I'm honest. So that's a good thing. You also get with it this very handy little attachment which connects on the side here, which you can adjust to any position that you like, and then onto that you attach your mobile phone, and that is a very simple little process like that. So you can get your phone in there and you connect the Osmo by Wi-Fi to the phone, and then the phone gives you the monitoring picture, and it does give you a good resolution. There's not too much delay between the movement of the phone and then the camera on the monitor, so that's a very good thing. It is quite a discreet thing when you're going about, especially if you're going into places where they don't normally like cameras. So if you want to film in a museum or somewhere like that, you can bring it out and film and nobody really thinks that you're getting up to mischief. The camera itself has a lovely wide angle, but not too wide. It's not sort of fisheye, which is handy when you're in selfie mode and you're filming yourself and it's looking at you. You don't get the proportions all blown out, so you get a nice wide angle, so as you walk along, if you're doing those POV bits and you've got branches or cars or buildings passing you, you get that real sense of movement, which is important. If you're doing a panning shot like this or a tracking shot, you get a nice steady picture, which is obviously important, and those sort of tracking towards and back, equally very good. To change the battery is very simple. It's just simply a click like this. There's a little catch on the inside, and so you can do quick change batteries, but the batteries last about an hour. I found that actually they probably last less than an hour when I was filming, but that's okay. If you buy several of these batteries, I mean, you can whack them in pretty swiftly and away you go. So I don't mind that so much, as long as you've got enough of them. 2 or 3 batteries will probably keep you going for a while. Another thing that's handy is the carry case. It is a beautifully made carry case with a zip, so that and you can place it all in there, so that if you're going on a walk or you're going around a museum or somewhere, you can sling it over your shoulder quite easily, and it's going to be protected from knocks and bumps, and that's a good thing. And it's nice and sturdy, it's padded, and it all comes together with a nice zip. So I think that's a very nice plus point, and it looks quite swish. It looks a little bit like a miniature guitar case, doesn't it? So if you want to play a guitar, you could do that. And the other handy thing is once you've got it going, you can be doing a forward thing, 3 clicks on the trigger at the front, and it swivels round and you can see yourself. So that's very good. You get the selfie mode. You haven't got to reconfigure or turn it round like this. You can do it, does it automatically, and that's nice. So what about the negative points then on the Osmo Dji? Well, here they are. One major problem that I had was it didn't always record. It looked like it was recording, it said it was recording, but when I looked at the rushes, They just weren't there. Now, this has happened to me 3 times on the about 4 or 5 occasions I went out with the camera. You know, when you go and you shoot something and you know you've got a shot and then you go and look for it, I found that they just weren't there. And that was strange, because I watch that it goes on. I watch you get a little counter at the bottom telling you how many seconds it's been recording. So I know it's going somewhere, but I found that it wasn't on the card. And I don't know whether there was just some link between the Wi-Fi that wasn't connecting with the camera, and yet it was giving me the picture and everything. So that was a worry. I definitely pressed the button and I definitely saw it being recorded on the camera, or at least monitoring it that it was recording on the camera, but it didn't turn up. Another very important thing for me was when you're in the selfie mode and you're holding it at a reasonable arm's length, you're just not in focus. I don't know exactly the length that the focal length is before things become in focus. You get some fantastic crystal clear shots from about 1.5 meters, I guess, and then to infinity, and they look fantastic. But if you're filming yourself, you're just soft. You're just completely out of focus. And what tends to happen is when you look at the rushes, you're soft, but the background is crystal clear. And that's quite off-putting, because you're obviously going to be the dominant person or the dominant subject in the frame, and then whatever else is behind you. So that's a flaw, and I would hope that if they come out with a Mark II, that the Mark II will correct that somehow, because I imagine a lot of people have bought this because it has the selfie setting on it, and that it's so easy to switch from the front view to the back view. The other little niggle I have is it takes a bit of time to set it up. When you turn it on, it sets out its Wi-Fi signal. You then have to turn on your phone and make sure your phone has got the Wi-Fi connected. Admittedly, that once you've done this 1 or 2 times, it then does know that it's there, but it still takes a few, well, nearly up to about half a minute really, to sort of get itself worked out and then find the connection so that then you can start filming. If you just want to film sort of off the cuff and you don't want to bother with connecting to the phone just to monitor the picture, it doesn't seem to like that. I did some filming where I thought, oh, I'd just like to get some going through the woods to add into a video I was doing, and I thought, I don't need to see it. I vaguely now know the wide angleness. I'm just going to be weaving through trees like this. So I just switched it on and did the filming. Nothing was there. So clearly it doesn't like doing that. You get a little microphone with the DJI, a little separate external microphone. Now, this is a little pointless really, and it doesn't work terribly well. There's a number of things here. The onboard microphone is rubbish, and there's no point even doing that. Now, I don't mind that, because onboard microphones tend not to be particularly good, because it's got the motors going whirring away. They're quite quiet, and to anybody else they may not hear them, but because the microphone is built in, the inboard mic, you'll hear that noise and it's rubbish. So they gave you an external microphone in the hope that you could pick up some stuff. Now, it plugs in at the front, which is like that. It's not particularly good, and I think it's just a simple dynamic microphone, so it needs amplification. And of course it does pick up those noise, and the cardioid pattern isn't particularly useful. However, you would think though it would be ideal for the selfie stuff. So if you're moving along like this, you could walk and talk and give a narration of what you're up to. However, of course, when you're holding it the correct way and you go into selfie mode and the camera spins round to face you, the microphone is on the wrong side. It really should be here if you wanted just a microphone so that it could pick up you talking. So I think that's another little design fault, which maybe on a Mark II could be corrected. But again, I'm not so worried about that, because I was using radio mics. So I would connect a radio mic in here, have it on a wire connected to the transmitter on my belt. Also on my belt, I'd have the receiver and then a radio mic connected to my shirt here. That worked very well, and the sound quality I was very happy with. So I wasn't too worried about the onboard microphone scenario, but you could plug in an external microphone like a Rode microphone and stick it on a thing here and talk to it that way. So there's easily ways around it. So it wasn't a huge negative, but this microphone gives you the impression you've got that sorted, and really you haven't. The other little negative thing is I worry is actually how long is this thing going to last. Even when it's locked up, it's still a bit shaky. It rattles and stuff. If you were to bang it, I feel that would be the end of it. I don't know how long these motors are going to last. You know, I bought my EX1 camera in 2008 and I'm still using it. I'm filming it now, and here we are in 2017. It's a professional and robust camera. Okay, it's only 720p, which is why I mainly use it now for these studio things, and less when I'm out and about. However, this, I'm worried that about £500 or whatever it cost, if you bang it, if you knock it, or is it going to last more than 6 months to a year? Be interested in other people's comments. It feels to me just a little fragile. Finally, while it is a handheld device and it sits very nicely in your hand, it would be nice if there was some form of tripod mount somewhere in the bottom here so that you could mount it, or even in the side so that you could mount it to the side and what have you. Yes, I think you can buy external devices which will plug in here, and that's possible. Maybe you can mount it on a camera on a tripod like that, but it would be nice if you didn't have to have any extras just to have that on, because sometimes you might want to do a selfie but where you're not actually holding the camera, you just want to stick it on something like a tripod and then either, you know, have it there and walk into a position where you are in focus, or maybe you just want to get that lock solid thing and you just want to leave it there and not have any kind of movement at all. Anyway, they're my reasons why I'm afraid, as much as I love the footage and I love using it, I won't go and buy one of these things. I am still looking for another kind of gimbal style camera, but the Osmo Dji, for me, isn't it. Thanks for watching. I'd be interested in your views. If you've got one or tried one or like one, write them down in the comment. If you enjoyed my videos, do subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.